Today's episode of the More You Know podcast is brought to you by CrowdQuestion, a brand new social communication platform focused on connecting crowds to bring everyone closer to their community, as well as enhancing any occasion. Rather than being a social media platform focused on content and advertising, they're focused on communication and connection. Learn more about the platform and download the app free at crowdquestion.com.
I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
Today's
More
You
No
podcast.
Today I want to talk about roadblocks that get in the way of taking action that Robert Ringer discusses in his book $1 Million Habits. No matter who you are or what you're looking to pursue, you must take action on your pursuits. If not, everything's just a thought and a theory, and action is what culminates things in life. In order to develop the habit of regularly taking action, you must overcome mental obstacles that prevent people from taking action. And with this being said, I now want to go through 6 mental obstacles that Robert discusses in his book that get in the way of taking action. The first is resistance to change. And fear, specifically fear of the unknown, is the heart of the problem when it comes to resistance to change. What this means is that you must get over these fears in order to get through the obstacle. From here, obstacle number 2 is waiting for something to happen. It's very important to understand the reality that no one cares about your life and your pursuits as much as you do. Because of this, you can't wait for something to happen, and you must be proactive about your pursuits and what you want in life. If you want something to happen, you must make it happen. When you depend on no one but yourself, not only can you never be disappointed, but you also increase your chances of controlling your own destiny. After that, number 3 is feeling overwhelmed. Being overwhelmed can no doubt stifle your pursuits, but luckily Robert provides a 9-step plan to help being overwhelmed. Step number 1 is at the first sign of feeling overwhelmed, call time out and mentally and physically come to a complete stop. Then number 2 is to step back and get a big picture perspective. This will assist in objectively analyzing reality. Then from there, step number 3 is to eliminate everything that isn't crucial to achieving your most important objectives. After that, step number 4 is don't try to do everything, just do something. Understand in order to avoid getting overwhelmed, you must discipline yourself and prioritize things. Then step number 5 is to begin. Even though you're feeling overwhelmed, you must begin to take action and start doing something, and understand that you'll get through the overwhelming feeling. After that, step number 6 is concentrate exclusively on the project at hand. Then step number 7 is to sustain your movement at a comfortable pace. Don't overwork yourself and don't get burned out. Next, step number 8 is don't stop until you're done. And finally, step number 9 is then and only then, move on to the next project or task. From here, obstacle number 4 is that the time is never right. You must understand that conditions are never right at the right time. The timing is always wrong. Because of this, don't cling to the concept of perfect timing. Then the 5th obstacle is self-doubt, and self-doubt is a much more common problem than many people believe. In order to overcome self-doubt, you must face the reality that you're going to fail, and that there's nobody to impress. By doing so, it will remove self-doubt. And finally, obstacle number 6 is adversity. When you've taken action, perhaps even many times, but because of obstacles, rejection, bad luck, and or disappointment over lack of results, makes you become too discouraged to continue. But this is the path to failure, and you must be able to overcome adversity in your life like you overcome self-doubt and these other obstacles. Luckily, Robert has a 7-step process for overcoming adversity. Step number 1 is to never take the attitude, well, at least things can't get any worse. Never settle for how things are. Then step number 2 is, as with the problem of feeling overwhelmed, call time out and mentally and physically come to a complete stop. Then step number 3 is to minimize the damage. Then step number 4, similar to when you're feeling overwhelmed, is to stand back and get a big picture perspective. From there, step number 5 is to stay rigidly self-disciplined and focus exclusively on resolving the problem. From there, step number 6 is to carefully and honestly analyze the problem in terms of what you did wrong and how you could improve upon it. And then finally, step number 7 is to start moving in the right direction as quickly as possible. Taking action is the most important aspect of any pursuit, but it's also arguably the most intimidating aspect of any pursuit. There's plenty of mental obstacles that can get in the way of pursuing action, but by being aware of these obstacles that I just mentioned, it will assist in pursuing your dreams, making a tremendous impact, and crafting a life of significance.
I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
Today's
More
You
No
podcast.